welcome to Quirky Books with Katie. Today I'm going to be doing my August wrap-up and September TBR video. Cannot believe that August is over already, guys. I mean, school starts next month in like a couple days, and I'm not happy about that. And in August, I did not have a great reading month. I think it's because usually during the summer I get lazy and I just sit on Tumblr for hours on end. You guys probably know what that's like, but I read 11 books, which is like an accomplishment for me. It's not that many, so I will jump into the books that I read. The first book that I read during the month of August is Tiger's Curse by Colleen Houck. This is a book about a girl named Kelsey, and she works at a zoo during the summer, and she kind of befriends this tiger named Wren, and she has to go on this quest to India, and it's full of romance and action, and I really liked it. I thought this was a great start to the series. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Love the romance in this book, and this is just a really great series that I would definitely recommend. The second book that I read is Tiger's Quest by Colleen Houck. This is the second book in the Tiger's Curse series, and I gave this book only 3 out of 5 stars. I thought that the middle was good, but the beginning and end were kind of eh. Because in the beginning, I feel like the main character is basically just whining and complaining. Then Wren shows up in romance and cutesies, and then this freaking love triangle that you know is going to happen comes, and you're just like, oh my god, not another freaking love triangle. And that was my main issue with the book. I just think that the love interest Keyshawn, I'm not a big fan of him, and I just don't think that he's a great match for Kelsey. And I could tell that the love triangle is just going to develop more in the series. I did enjoy the book, though. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. The third book that I read is Tiger's Voyage by Colleen Houck. This is the third book in the Tiger's Curse series. And I really like this one. I think this might be my favorite book of the series. I was just so emotionally attached to it. I don't know. I was just really rooting for Kelsey and Wren, even though there's all this stuff in their way. And the love triangle was frustrating, but I was still like really attached to everybody. I even like cried a couple times. Oh my god, this book, emotionally frustrating, but good. 4 out of 5 stars. The next book that I read is The Book of Broken Hearts by Sarah Ackler. I love this book. This is book about a girl named Jude, and her father has been diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's, and she kind of has to take care of him, and she's told that he has only a couple months left to live, so she helps him rebuild his old motorcycle. And this is just a phenomenal book. Sarah Ackler is great at writing heartfelt contemporaries, and I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars. The next book that I read is Tiger Lily by Jodi Lynn Anderson. This is a retelling of Peter Pan, and it's told from Tinkerbell's point of view, but it's obviously about Tiger Lily. This book is phenomenal. Like, go read it right now. I loved it that much. It's such a thought-provoking book, and it totally makes you see everything differently, like the story of Peter Pan and just all this stuff, and it was just so good. I cannot stress that enough. Definitely the best Peter Pan retelling I've ever read. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. Go read that right now. The next book that I read is the book that I had to read for my English class over the summer, and that is Lord of the Flies by William Golding. I will try to keep this short, but I freaking hated this book. I hated it. It's only 200 pages, and every chapter I just wanted to throw this book against the wall. I hated it. You guys know I do not hate that many books. I hated this. I gave it a 1 out of 5 stars, and it does not even deserve its 1 star. I'm sorry if you're a fan of this book. I just could not finish it, and the whole thing's a metaphor, and I was not a fan of it at all. Next, I read Ruby Red by Kirsten Gear. This is a book about time travel. The story itself was good, but I felt like it was kind of rushed, and then there was this insta-love at the end that just kind of popped out of nowhere, and I just felt like it was rushed, and everything could have been explained a little more. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. Let me know if the series gets better, because I don't know if I'm going to continue that series or not. The next book that I read is Proxy by Alex London. This is a new futuristic dystopian book that was really hyped when it came out, but not a lot of people read it, and I thought it was amazing. The 2 main characters, Knox and Sid, are both really interesting characters because the author didn't really make either of them particularly likable. Which usually, if I don't like the characters, I don't like the story, but something just drew me to this story. And it also has a different type of romance in it, which is good. It actually one of the main characters is gay, and one of my problems with books that feature gay main characters is that's like what the book is about. And I'm not trying to be like offensive, but I'm not usually a fan of those books, but I feel like this kind of had that as a side plot and it focused more on the story, which was really good. And this was just a phenomenal book. I'm really interested to see how the rest of the series is going to go. And my only issue with it is it didn't have a ton of character development, but when I was asking for character development, bam, the author gave it to me, and I was on the floor crying. Another book with a cliffhanger ending. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. The next book that I read was actually a reread for me, and that is City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. You guys probably know what this book's about by now. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I reread this before the movie and loved it even more the second time around. The next book that I read is Second Chance Summer by Morgan Matson. This book is a contemporary, and it is about a girl whose father is diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and she has to go up to their lake house in the Poconos, which is actually like semi-close to where I live, so that was kind of creepy. And they have their like last summer together, and she meets all these people from her past, and she kind of has to say goodbye. This was a heartfelt book. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I enjoyed it, but I didn't love it as much as some other people do. I don't know. I'm just not a huge fan of Morgan Matson's books. Everyone adores Amy and Roger's Epic Detour, and I was just not a fan of that. And the last book that I read this month was actually my favorite book of the month, and that is Angel Fall by Susan Eve. This book has been so talked about lately. It's basically a post-apocalyptic angel book, but it's not your typical paranormal angel romance. This book has depth, and it's creepy, and it is just amazing. I did a review on it, so I'll link that down below if you want to know more of my thoughts, but I freaking love this book. The second book comes out in November, so when that comes out, it's going to be a good day. So now on to my TBR. The first few books that I'm going to be talking about are books that I'm definitely going to read, and then I'll let you guys know when there's books that I'm considering reading, but I'm not definitely sure if I'm going to read them. First book that I know I'm definitely going to read is Unspoken by Sarah Rees Brennan. You guys know how much I love this book. I'm rereading it because the second book comes out this month. And this is a book about this girl named Cammie, and she has had this voice that she's talked to in her head ever since she was younger. And she lives in a town of Surrey in the Vale, England, and the mysterious Lindburn family come back, and Cammie realizes that the voice inside her head is real. I freaking love this book, and I'm so excited to reread it. And the second book that I'm going to read in September is the second book in the series, Untold, which I am so freaking excited for. I read Unspoken at the end of December, and I've waited so long, and I'm just really interested to see what's going to happen because the first book left off on such a huge cliffhanger. I want to see where it's going to happen next, but apparently this one has an even more emotionally damaging cliffhanger than the first one, which isn't even possible. So when this book comes out, I'm locking myself in my room. People better not bother me or I will be ticked off. The next book I plan on reading in the month of September is Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. A lot of people adore this book. All I know is that it's about an assassin and a competition. Some people say it's like an assassin in the Hunger Games. I don't know. It sounds really good. I plan on reading this on the first day of school, so hopefully people do not ask me what I'm reading and what it's about, because I've had that happen before, and that's an awkward situation. But I'm so excited to read this book. The next book I want to read is Obsidian by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is a book about aliens. I don't know really what else it's about, but so many people have been talking about it and freaking out, and I know the 4th book in the series just came out and everyone's like in a state of panic. So I need to get on this series. I need more series to make me emotionally damaged. No way. Next book I plan on reading is The Immortal Rules by Julie Kagawa. This is a futuristic dystopian vampire book that everyone raves about, and I'm excited to get into it, but my favorite thing about this book is definitely the edges. They're like the crinkled edges. I am more likely to buy a book if it has crinkle edges. How superficial is that? Okay, now the next few books are books that I plan to get out from the library, but as I've probably told you guys before, when I get books out from the library, I get out a bunch, and I usually only end up reading a couple. So if these are any good, let me know, and I will definitely get to them. The first one I plan on reading is The Testing by Joelle Charbonneau. I know that this is like a futuristic dystopian competition book. A bunch of people have been talking about it. I've actually had it recommended to me on Goodreads a couple times, and I'm excited to read it. The next book I plan on reading is The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. I do not actually know what this one is about, All I know is that it's been talked about, and it's actually not a YA book, and I haven't read anything non-YA in a while, so I kind of wanted to branch out and try this one. The next book that I might read is The Beginning of Everything by Robin Schneider. Liz from Lizzie Books said that this is an amazing book. It's a contemporary, and I haven't read a lot of contemporary lately, so I wanted to try it out. And I reserved it from the library, and it's on order, so that means it's either coming in 2 days or like 3 weeks. And the last book that I might read in the month of September is Born Wicked by Jessica Spotswood. This is a book about witches during the Salem witch trial era, I think. And I love the Salem witch trials. I've been to Salem before, and I was just in fangirl heaven. So I think this is going to be a good book. I was going to read it in October because of like Halloween. Because I was planning on doing like this like Halloween themed book reading month, but then I remembered that all of these books I've been obsessing over come out in October, so that's not going to happen. So let me know down below if you guys want to see me do reviews of any of these. I'd be happy to do so, and let me know what you guys read in August and what you're planning on reading in September. So thank you guys for watching. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, and I will talk to you again soon.